Serious, man. They fucking. I'm tired of this shit, man. These fucking this team.
What the hell? All right. All right. So it's Harvey Talks Prison here again with what to do with Big Lou.
Rolling.
Huh? So the internet connection is unstable.
What it do?
Yeah. So anyway, here for round 4. And so let's see what you got to say. Go ahead and kick it off, Lou.
So again, like always, thanks for everybody that's going to end up watching this when it drops. Also, I want to thank Harvey for bringing me on again. As always, it's an honor and privilege when I speak to Harvey, or I have a lot of respect for Harvey. Obviously, he's my elder. And like I mentioned before, he's my favorite channel, man, because he just he's himself. He tells you what the story is. If you catch what he's picking, if you pick up what he's putting down, then awesome. And relate the message. You know, we're trying to keep kids from making the same mistakes we made. Unfortunately, sometimes in certain situations, you know, stuff happens, and you know, family always comes first. But with that being said, I know you're from Missouri. I know Kansas City Chiefs is your team. Basketball season is just about to kick off again, and they're already doing preseason games. So I will not be wearing any Raider hats or Raider anything until these a-holes can win a game. It's embarrassing, man. Yeah, because I mean, I'm just not a fan. It's more than that to me. You know, it's a way of life. You know, like since we're from Oakland, where the team originated, you know, it's like I said, it's a lifestyle, it's a way of life for us, and you know, it's getting old and tiring, decades after decades of not doing diddly squat. You feel me? So, I'm gonna leave it at that. But I was thinking of speaking about the daily your program while you're in with the car that I used to run with, how our daily program runs, because I can't really speak on other group segments, how their daily routine is, but I can speak on what I've been through in the reception center. So
let's hear it.
Depending where, yeah, okay, yeah. So depending where you lived at in the state, now it's different. Now it's just one reception, Northern California, which is Delano. Well, it's not even Northern Cali. Actually, it's like Central. It's near Bakersfield. It's called Delano. There's 2 prisons there. One's called Kern Valley State Prison, and the other one's called North Kern. And then you have Chino, which is called everybody knows it's Chino, but it's actually called CIM, which is California Institution for Men. It's one of those old prisons that's designed exactly like DVI, which is Dual Vocational Institution, Vacaville, which is a California Medical Facility, and Soledad, which is Correctional Training Facilities, CTF. But speaking of when I was going through the system, they had all, because of I don't know how aware a lot of the viewers are, but California was very packed as far as the overcrowding and the population, and it was court ordered that they had to do something about it. Eventually, they kept when Schwarzenegger was in power, they kept getting contempt of court because he wasn't doing nothing about it. And you know, you can't really blame him, because you figure, you know, he starts releasing guys and then they reoffend. It'll look bad on him, whatever way you look at it. You know, for re-elections and such. You know, for his what do you call that? His political career. If he decided, you know, obviously he can't be president because he wasn't born in the United States, but he could be a congressman. He can go up the ladder like that. So at that time, you had a High Desert State Prison, which was a main line, and it had reception, this is like North California. A lot of the country counties up that way, like let me see, Glenn County, Humboldt County. Actually, I don't think Humboldt County went there. Glenn County and Shasta County, Butte County, Siskiyou County. Those counties all went up there to the High Desert State Prison. And then you had coming more south from there. You had DVI, which is Dual Vocational Institution, which is AKA Tracy. And then everybody that would go there would be like Stockton people, Sacramento people, Modesto people, Merced people, and that was pretty much it. And then you keep going down south, and I'm not really sure which one's closer when you're going down the map, but you got Delano, like I was just mentioning, Delano, and you got also Wasco. And both of these prisons are in the same county of Kern County, which is their biggest city, and that county is Bakersfield. So you're talking like 330,000 population wise. And let me see, Fresno is down that way. That's a big city. That's about a half a million. They go to Wasco, as well as let's see, as well as Madera, which is a little bitty place right next to Fresno. It's still considered Northern California. Fresno is Northern California, but because of the later on in life, the Bulldogs emerged in like the 80s, the mid 80s. They're their own thing. So you got North, South, and you got Bulldogs, right? And that's Fresno area. But now a lot of the little cities, little towns, surrounding towns from Fresno County are considered county dogs. So they're not actually Bulldogs like from Fresno, like the college, Fresno State. That's where they adopted that logo. So if you're from Fresno and you gang bang and all that, and you're a Bulldog, then you're a Bulldog. BDS, that's what they go by. But like I was just saying, some of the cities, towns that are around it, like for example, Sanger, Reedley, Orange Cove, there's another one, Selma. If you're from there, you're a county dog. So you're not a bulldog, but you're a county dog. I mean, it's the same logo and all that. It's just, it's separating the difference between the city of Fresno and then the county of Fresno. Okay, so they go to, like I said, they go to Wasco. Madera goes to Wasco. I think also Bakersfield and Delano, they go to Wasco, which is weird about that. So if you're from the city of Delano, you don't go to Delano for reception. You go to Wasco. It's a trip. And then if you're from Tulare County, which is Visalia, Porterville, Tulare,
So do they?
or no, excuse me, Orosi, Pixley, yeah.
I was going to say that. So once you get to the prison,
Did you ask them?
no, anywhere in California, once you get to the prison,
Yeah.
you hang out with, no matter what race you are, do you hang out with people from your town, like all the whites from the same area you're from? Like, say I'm white, would I be hanging out with all the whites from the same area?
Okay, so that's okay for guys from Northern California. No, that's not really. You don't do that because they. I mean, you can hang out with your peoples once from your area once you get to the yard and all that. But if you're like really making it, let me explain what I mean by this. So the whites and the Southsiders, this Sureños, Southsiders, this is what I know for sure. Southern Latinos and whites, they have somebody. So like, say you're from what county are you from?
Oh, here in Missouri? Yeah, Phelps County.
Yeah. Okay, so you're from Phelps County. You'll have all your guys that are from your county, Phelps County, and then you'll have one guy that'll be basically he'll hold the keys for that county, right?
Oh, I see.
But then you'll have a white dude then you'll just have a white dude that holds the keys for all the whites. You know what I mean? Same thing with the South. If you're from LA County, then you guys will kind of come together. And then why they do this is because you're basically cleaning house for your own. If anything needs to be taken care of, then if you're from Phelps County, then somebody from Phelps County will have to take care of it. Now, if there's nobody from Phelps County, then they might go to the county over, or somebody owes cleanup. They got in trouble for something and they owe cleanup. Then they'll go to that person or those people, depending on how many people they want to send on the guy. But yeah, there is some sense of that. Not by everybody, but yeah, and the blacks usually do that too. Obviously you got Crips and Bloods, you got the Bay Area, you got Kumi, and they're from Fresno, they usually go all together. If they're from Riverside, they go all together. Obviously, if you're from a neighborhood that's a Crip neighborhood, you guys stick together on the yard. You know what I mean? But
here in Missouri, they tend to go by area codes. Like a lot of people get their area code tattoo on, but usually they're gang members. And like the ones from Springfield, they'll have 417. St. Louis will have another one, you know, even though they might be in the same gang, they'll have the different area codes tattooed on them.
Right. So yeah, so I got my area code right here on my. Let me see. I don't know if you,
You got
see
it
I got
too,
my
right?
area code.
Right.
Can you see that? 209?
Yep.
209? So
Yep.
that's my area code. That's the area code I'm from. But that doesn't, I mean, yeah, guys will shout it out. 415, that's San Francisco area. 510 is Oakland. 209 is, and that's the thing with 209. It used to be from Sac County all the way down to almost past Fresno. Used to be Tulare County, Kings County. All that was 209. And then they did some changing and made some new area codes because it was just too many people. So that's why you can't really go on that as far as with the northern cats. But yeah, that's definitely, and another thing is you can't just get those tattoos on you unless you earn them.
Right.
You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? You gotta, if you're behind, yeah,
That's the same way here.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. If you're behind the prison walls, you
Yeah.
right. So, you know, if you come in with them already, that's it might be different, or they might say, hey, you know what, you got to earn those still. I don't
Right.
know, but as far as with my my folks, did, you know, there ain't none of that. It's more harsh as far as the daily routine. It's a lot more it's a lot more stricter. It's more, put it this way, it's very it's paramilitary. It's very it mimics a lot of structure. And once I start getting into it, you'll get what I mean by all that. About the daily routine and the daily you know, your daily routine. So I don't know if you want me to get into that right now and start with that, or
However you want to do it, you know, you had a plan set up for what
okay.
you're going to talk about today. So just however you want to do it.
Okay, so like yesterday I mentioned, or the last time we are on, I mentioned 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. to 2 o'clock is second watch, right?
Right.
So usually, yeah, usually, you know, they get there a little early, 10 till, quarter till, you'll hear them, the keys, you'll hear things, and then you'll have a person that's called the gallo, which means the rooster, right? And
Right.
he'll get up and he'll do a reception center. Usually it's all together in it's not it's not in what's that word I'm looking for? It's not cadence. It's not set in, I mean, it's set in cadence where everybody does it together. So that person might wake up and he'll say, hey, buenos dias, and then he'll start off whatever, you know, whatever they're gonna say. Because the reason I'm only saying like that, because at one point they were using Nawa language, which was the Toltec, the what people call Aztec. They were using that language as part of the wake up. You know what I mean? And so then what happens? They'll say whatever they're gonna say. We're this they'll say this program was made to be in harmony, blah blah blah, and then you, like I said, you answer back buenos dias, and then you yell it back buenos dias, and we got windows that actually open, so these guys are screaming this out the back window, and this is like 5 o'clock. This is between 5:30 and 5:45 in the morning, right? So then of course, you know, there's only one sink, so you let either your celly or you wash up and do their thing first, and maybe make their bed, and then you get up and then you do the same, right? And then what we do is you have to you roll your mattress up like a Tootsie Roll, tight. You roll as tight as you can get it, and you put all your blankets and everything neatly, right? Sometimes I've seen and I've heard of guys that certain institutions where they're big on taking everything off your bed, your sheets and everything, folding up everything, rolling up the mattress, and then folding everything on top of it. That's kind of petty to me, you know what I'm saying? That part of it. I've actually even heard guys telling on somebody else that they didn't fold their sheet on, put it on top of their bunk. I heard that before. I heard guys tell on another homie because they didn't turn on their lights, and the lights we have there are the ones where you pull with the, you know, the old school light bulbs, and it's already late light outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's light outside. You're not gonna get it no lighter in there. And the guys are telling, these are homeboys telling your own people. It's fucking crazy, right? So you roll that mattress up, you get it tight. Usually there's no fishing. You can't fish until after breakfast. And that's after, not only after breakfast, but after they pick up the trays and all that. I guess is, you know, they say it's a little bit respectful, whatever. So basically you're just up until breakfast comes. If you're on lockdown, that's what I meant by all that. You get self-fed, you can't fish until they pick up your trays. But the way to if we're walking the chow, then we'll go to chow like within it depends because this is a reception center. So I don't remember exactly how they do it. They break it down on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, where the PC guys go first and then we go second. I don't remember how they did that.
Hey,
And then
I just want to back up and apologize to the viewers because I knew what you meant when you said getting the trays and stuff. I knew that you was talking about being on lockdown, but our viewers might not know that, you know. So I apologize for not explaining that. You know, I knew what he meant, but some of you guys out there might not know what he meant. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So so we either if we're walking the chow, then no, none of that. But you're allowed to fish after breakfast. Yeah, I should have clarified that too, because after you fish, I mean after you go to breakfast, what I mean by walking, then you can fish when you guys get back. Otherwise, if we're getting self-fed, that means we're either on lockdown or shorter staff or something happened, where they're not gonna allow us to walk. Once they pass out the trays, we eat, we put the trays back under the door. Once they pick them all up and mop and sweep and all that, then we can fish. Right. You know, what I mean by fishing is we construct a fishing line. You can rip it off your boxers, off your sheet, just any form of a line, and then you tie on a car at the end, just something for weight, so you can throw it once you go underneath your door. You can throw it where it'll pick up some, it'll from the car, the weight you use at the end of it, it'll make it go, to wherever you got to get. And then you tie on with the
yeah. In Missouri, it's called Cadillacing. You make a Cadillac, and then you guys call it fishing. We call it making a Cadillac.
So a Cadillac in California system is a cup of coffee with the sugar creamer and sometimes a Snicker bar. You can put a Snicker bar or a Milky Way bar in the coffee, and that's a Cadillac.
Oh yeah. Over here, yeah. So, over here is Cadillac's what you call fishing, but it's the same, pretty much, same thing. You put a weight on the end of a string and you slide it down.
Yeah. And then when you tie on whatever you got going, or whatever you got going to somebody, or what? Okay, so if I throw my line out there first, and I say I'm in cell 125, and I got something going over to 129. If he puts his line out and then he fishes me in, and then we tie on to each other. Right. That way, if we get snagged or caught somewhere, we can both pull from each side when addressed to, and then you oh man, what's that called? Zip tie. You zip tie your whatever's coming back, and then if it's just like what I was showing you guys yesterday about the paper being folded, if it's this type of thing right here, then you use a saran wrap. I would use a saran wrap also to wrap around it tight to like give it that extra, secure it extrally, and then you'll tell them, and then you can either go ahead pull, or you can just tug on it where they know you're pulling, and that means go ahead, take off, without having to talk.
Same here.
If you say pull it, yeah, if you say pull it, then somebody can hear and they'll know you're fishing. Some of the COs would run out there trying to bust you. You know what I mean? And they'll charge you for the sheets.
Well, what we do, we usually, some people say pull, real loud or something. But most people, like you said, it's just a tug, so the other person will know. Because every once in a while, you'll have somebody, because back then we was allowed to smoke in the Department of Corrections, and people would take tobacco to the hole. So they know that somebody's usually fishing for tobacco, so they'll try to snatch their line and pull it in and get their tobacco.
Yeah, that's so. And then what that problem is, if you're in the hole and you're fishing like that, sometimes the PCs will try to steal your lines, or right. if the PCs are fishing, the GPs will try to steal them, but the GPs ain't even supposed to mingle with them at all, so they'll be in trouble if they get caught.
Well, they're usually in a different area of the hole than here. But the thing of it is, I've seen people getting bad in wrecks over stealing lines. If they got out of the hole, I've seen bad things happen to them.
That's what I mean. If your general population and you're interfering with the PC's fishing line, you'll be disciplined, because you're not supposed to even acknowledge them. So if they start calling you an asshole, they say, you punk motherfucker, if they're talking shit, you're just supposed to ignore them.
Right.
But there are times where guys, money talks, and if you got some type of deals going with some tobacco from the main line, anything, then I have heard. I've never actually personally seen it, but I've heard many times of them go ahead and doing whatever they got to do because there's money involved. Well, I mean, look at now. Look at now. What I was telling you, I've told you before that they got the PCs on the yards with the GPs now mixed, and basically the GPs are telling them, okay, well, you guys are just like another group segment on the yard now. You guys stay over there, and we'll because they don't want to mess up the money flow. You know what I mean? And most of these dudes, though, because I seen that look you made right now, right? Most of these guys are not sex offenders, though. These guys are just
Oh,
like gang dropouts that send food.
oh,
Yeah,
oh,
supposedly the way they're doing it now, yeah, the way they got it now is it's supposed to be separate.
oh.
Those guys are not even like they're not even taking a chance putting those guys out there. That's
Yeah,
what I heard. I don't know how true that is, but
see, most of them here in Missouri that's in PC are sex offenders, you know.
right. Yeah, so no, so yeah, so you got on the PC yards, you got gang dropouts, guys that were real members. Because you got guys that'll go around saying they're a dropout, but they're not really a dropout because they never were a member of one of those
Right.
organizations, right? So basically, they're just not active. They're just they're just not active. So they're over there. You got actual gang members that were actual members that debriefed whenever they did, and they gave up whatever information they did to get out of the shoe. You got sex offenders. You got rapists. Those type of weirdos. And then that's a lot of them are like ex cops. You know what I mean? Ex cops. What else they got? Ex cops. Ex judges. Ex pro officers. Whatever. Whatever peace officer they used to be. They got them there too. But yeah, they don't do that over here. If you're in the hole, you're in the hole, and you could be mixed on the tier with anybody that's in AgSeg, slash the
Oh,
hole. So
yeah, that's different
yeah,
than here.
yeah, yeah. Well, they're so crowded. They don't have, it's so crowded at one point they couldn't do all that. They'd
Right.
have to literally, where are they going to put everybody if they're going to do that? As far as what I mean by that is like, you're going to, like, it's not like a building where you can have everybody go into the gym or the chow hall, while these other guys are packing their stuff and getting it out of the building. You can't do that with these because you're an ASEG. Where are you going to put everybody? It's just a big hassle. But so what? Okay, so you wake up at like I said, you go to chow, you come back. If you walk the chow, then that's when everything starts. As far as within your peoples, what I mean by that is, any type of things got to be passed back and forth. Anything. It could be like I had mentioned before, alignments. It could be directives. It could be just a filter about something. It could be education, anything, right? You're passing these all day on the line, fishing, right? And then you only go to yard at the last time I was in San Quentin, they were letting us go twice a week. I don't even remember what days it was now, but we would go out there from anywhere from an hour and a half to like 3 hours, just depending on who was running the program that day. The program sergeant, he might let us stay out there longer. When I was all the times I've been to DVI, we'd only go to yard once a week for a reception. And they were, for a little while there, they were mixing the buildings. They would let a couple buildings come out together, and then they stopped that. Probably because more people have to deal with when things would happen. Um, and then your lunch, you get your lunch when you go to breakfast. So when you walk to breakfast on the way out of the chow hall, they got somebody handing out your bag, your sack lunch to you. And then if you're getting self-fed, they give you, your lunch is right there too. So if you don't go to lunch, you don't get, if you don't go to breakfast, you get no lunch. So you better be sitting
Wow.
nice, canteen wise. Uh, Lunch is usually four pieces of bread, and either 2 pieces of bologna. Every now and then you'll get the ham, the generic ham. Um, and then you get peanut butter and jelly 3 days a week. I think it is 4 days a week is lunch meat. 3 days a week peanut butter and jelly, and then you'll get 2 cookies, either a snickerdoodle, chocolate chip, or oatmeal, and then you'll get the second thing you'll get is either a pack of graham crackers, 2 packs of graham crackers, banana chips, Boston baked beans, jelly beans, pretzels, trail mix, um, or yeah, those are the usually ones we get for that, and then you'll get an apple
Your sack
and
lunch
an
is
apple.
fat. We we had either the bologna sandwiches, the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, like you said, like a little thing of cookies and like a fruit, and that was it. That's what our sack lunches were. And we,
Yeah, and then dinner. And then dinner, you get dinner. And then if you're like a diabetic or something like that, when you go to the chow line, by that time the free staff, they know who you are. The people that work in the kitchen, the inmates, they know who you are. They'll grab your snack. And I think for the snack they give you 2 pieces of bread and I think it's peanut butter, and you get an apple, right? Or it might even be an orange. No, it ain't an orange. It's not an orange. That's county jail. Yeah, you'll get an apple, and then let's see, after like I said, man, most of the days you're just fishing. You're doing everything for the house, what they call the house, right? La casa, that means house. Um, and we get showers depending on what side of the tier you're on. If you're on the east side or the west side, you'll shower on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then if you're on the opposite side, you shower Tuesday, Wednesday, or excuse me, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then if you're on the opposite side, you shower Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then depending what reception center, for San Quentin, they got showers on the bottom tier. San Quentin is 5 tiers high, only on one side though. Tracy is 3 tiers high, both sides are cells, and there's showers. If you're in the wings, there's showers on the first tier, second tier, third tier. If you're in the hall, there's only showers on the bottom tier. And then basically, if you got the only jobs they offer in reception center are, this is DVI, medical. They'll have like 3 guys in medical, 3 or 4 guys in medical, and then they have the porters in the building. They'll have second watch and third watch porters, and they'll have at least 4, all by races, because there's no Southsiders there, so Sureños. So it's just North, black, white, and then usually other.
right.
So 4 porters for the 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock shift. No, excuse me. 2 porters from the 6 a.m. to 2 o'clock, and then again from the 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock porters. So that's only 4. That's only 8 jobs there. The kitchen's about another 8 guys, so that's 16. And then medical's like 4 guys. So you're talking only a total of 20 jobs for that one building. You know what I'm saying? And then usually how they do it is the other building will have the same, or excuse me, not the same. Only the porters and the kitchen guys, because we feed our own buildings. You know what I'm saying? And then I mean, pretty much you're just in your cell all day, except for the one day for yard, a couple of times you walk to chow, and then you got a job. And then if you put medical slips in, they'll probably call you at just as count clears just before dinner. And then if they start seeing you for anything, you'll come in the morning after breakfast, and they got a little area that you sit there and wait. The way I used to do it was I used to always get at the medical guy, the inmate that worked for medical, and I would always tell him, put me at the bottom, because that way you can hang out there for as long as you can. You don't have to go back to your cell, and then you're giving your cellie some time alone, for whatever he wants to do, just whatever,
I
So
understand.
it's pretty, like I said, yeah, you're pretty much just stuck all day in your cell.
So
Like I said, you come out.
I got a question I want to ask you. Do you like grapefruit?
No.
The reason why I say this is the Mexicans, every once in a while, they give us a half of grapefruit. And the Mexicans loved them. They'd go around asking for grapefruit. They'd have a whole pile of them. They usually sit at 1 or 2 tables, and they just have all these grapefruit, and they absolutely loved them. And so I was just kind of curious if you guys ate them out there.
Yeah, the only thing I've seen when I was in Soledad, we would get onions sometimes on a tray, and a lot of guys would buy those. We would get let me see, tomatoes. Sometimes guys would want to buy those off your trays. Yeah, but I never seen us get grapefruit. Never that. Yeah, never that. And then
And they knew I didn't like grapefruit, so they'd always come right over to my table. ASA, you gonna eat that?
yeah. So yeah, you sell it to them or trade it to them or give it to
Right,
them. Whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. So So yeah, that's how the reception goes. And then you gotta, obviously you gotta get your medical stuff done. So you gotta Tracy never was an issue for me. Like if I wanted to turn down my hepatitis test or HIV test or any of that, I didn't have to go through all that, right? I would just turn it down, sign
Right.
for it. Dental, you got to get your dental. They come and look at your teeth. You have to go to the dentist. Once you get that out of the way, that's done for medical. And then you basically are just sitting there waiting for your counselor to call you or come to your door. They'll ask you a bunch of questions. It's your first time. They'll ask you like your mother's maiden name, your parents' name, your siblings' names, your kids' names, and all the birth dates. They'll ask you different questions like you've been to graduate high school, different things like that. Once you know you've seen your counselor, you know you're going to be getting out of there pretty quick.
Right.
You're going to be catching the bus and be going to where you're going to go, because what they do is after your counselor, and your counselor is called a CC1. And usually the CC1 usually is equivalent to a sergeant, but now they're not in their uniform, the CO uniform. They're in,
Right.
they're just dressing casual, decent with a, pair of slacks with a button-up shirt. They might wear suits sometimes, depending. And then you have their boss is a CC2, which is a correctional counselor 2, and that's usually equivalent to a lieutenant. And the only time you really see them is when you go to committee. They'll be sitting in on the committee with the lieutenant, the captain, the associate wardens. And if you're in the hole, if you got like gang ties, then your IGI will be there, which is a institution gang investigator, and they have the same uniforms as the COs, but their patch is black.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's how you know them. And then there's also another unit that's called ISU, which stands for Institution Security Unit, and they have the same uniform as well. But with theirs, they have a circle around their circle, the badge. There's some type of design on the bottom, so when you see them too. You know what I mean? That they're and we call the IGI, which is the gang investigators. We call them cucuys, monsters.
Oh,
Yeah. So when they come into the housing unit, you yell out, attention, whatever wing you're in. If you're in E-wing, they'll say, attention, E-wing. The house is on ice. Cucuys, cucuys. And then and it'll be repeated like 2 or 3 times. And then everybody knows you better secure your shit if you got anything out, man, because you could get, these guys got the power in their hands to validate you. What I mean by that is give you a indeterminate shoe program where you're stuck in the shoe. And the only way you can come out of there is if you debrief or you die. You know what I mean? Pretty much.
right.
Unless you have a date and you're going home.
We had
But when you come back, you're going back to the hole. You know what I mean? So they're kind of scary. That's why they call them monsters.
we had a every prison in Missouri has a thing they call the gang task force. And when you come in, they'll check you for tattoos and all this other stuff. But we had a
right. So
we had,
that's what they would be equivalent to.
right. We also had what we nicknamed them the Goon Squad, but the official name is E Squad, and they come in every once in a while and just shake down the whole prison.
That's what they used to be called back in the day, was the Goon Squad.
Yeah.
And they would have, these dudes would be like corn-fed ass dudes, big old dudes, where like if you gave them any problems, they would literally, pull your head off from your shoulders and yeah, that's what they used to call them here too. That's what they used to call them here too. You know what I mean? So after you see your counselor, your paperwork gets forwarded to CSR, and I'm not sure what CSR stands for, but they're the ones that put you en route. They figure out where they're going to send you, what prison. And that's another thing. Your counselor will ask you 2 places you want to go, and it never works when you get there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And yeah.
Right.
Now, and then how it works is, if you get a bus ticket, what happens is either the porter's out there running around, the CO will give him the stack of bags, and it's just an old school brown paper bag like you get from the grocery stores, and it'll say your name on it, and then your CDC number, and then it'll say wherever you're going. So if I'm going to, what prison you know about? Which one comes to your mind right now in California?
Corcoran, Pelican Bay, Quentin.
Okay, Corcoran. Corcoran, it'll say either CSP COR or it'll say COR Corcoran, right? And then what you do is usually there's a property officer that comes. It has nothing to do with the housing officers there. They'll come and they'll have this old school looking thing on wheels where it's like a mesh, like how some of the old school doors look with the mesh,
Right.
where you things like that, and it reminds me of a thing it reminds me of like a workspace with the vice on it. That's what it reminds me of. And what they do is they go around to everybody's catching the bus the next day, and they, like I said, they pass out this one bag, and it says, it'll say Lou, and then my CDC number, and then where I'm going. But if I have more property than that, then she's gonna have to give me, or he's gonna have to give me more bags, and then it'll say if I got 5 bags, it'll say 1 of 4, 2 of 4,
Yeah.
3 of 4, 4 of 4, and then they'll inventory your stuff. So if you got soap dish,
We got less than a minute.
toothbrush holder, they'll document all that.
We got less
5
than,
books, yeah.
we got less than a minute.
Oh shit. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll say this part real quick, and then the next morning they wake you up about 4 in the morning. They make you, they pat you down. They take you up to R&R, because remember I said everybody that comes in or goes out has to go through R&R, and then they'll give you, before you go into the holding tank, they'll give you a sack lunch of peanut butter and jelly, because supposedly peanut butter and jelly plugs you up